Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Everyday Goddess Revolution with me, your host, Leanne MacDonald, where we are awakening women around the world to their potential. So today I'm joined again by the awesome Judy Prokopiak, who is a master life reinvention coach and spiritual practitioner. And I'm also joined by Meike Gehring, who is a TV presenter in Germany. And we're going to continue on the conversation. So if you watched the conversation that me and Judy had around trauma, we talked about how really trauma is the number one place that every woman should begin their journey of awakening and really stepping into their potential. So Meike has actually gone through this exploration with Judy, and she's transmuted her own trauma. So we're excited to share Meike's story in this episode and just continue the conversation around trauma and just how we're all raving fans about the trauma transmutation and how we can awaken that divine feminine within. So Meike, welcome to this show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Wonderful to have you. I think probably the best place to begin would be, what prompted you to begin to explore your own trauma?
So when I joined this trauma call with Judy, it was my first trauma call ever. I already had I did a lot of inner work. Like I read a lot of books and had changed my mindset, but I never really had a trauma healing. And that day, I was having a Zoom call with a client who was interested in my work here in Germany. And after this Zoom call, I had this feeling that something inside of my system is holding me back. Like I always see, like when I'm talking about pain in my system, I always see this dark, dark bubble. And I really felt that I have to get rid of something that is holding me back. And that day, Judy was making this session, and I decided to join. And then she was asking who wants to do the trauma work today. And everything inside of me was screaming, I have to do this. I have to get rid of something. And I had no idea that like 10 minutes later, we are always laughing because we're always saying it was like a volcano, and it was. Wow. Because when I started this trauma healing, everything inside of me was just letting go. And it was so beautiful. It was dramatic and beautiful at the same time. And I never really experienced such a moment before, while a person is holding space while you can let your emotions flow. And that is what I think the beautiful thing about a trauma session. And so we started, and yes, I just started crying. And yeah, I trusted her. I really trusted Judy in this moment, and I went into this past experience. And what she did was, she was not only holding space, she was empowering me to feel these feelings. And I think that is the most important thing a coach can do, from the beginning on, to give the person the feeling that he or she is not a victim at all, that it is the most powerful thing you can do to feel.
Yeah.
So but now I'm already in the story, so. Yeah.
Go for it. It's wonderful. I love to hear the passion when you're talking, and the way that you're describing it. It is like a volcano, isn't it? The first time the emotion begins to come up. And when you're by yourself, or when you're dealing with life and you've got family and friends and business and work around you, you don't feel safe to allow that emotion to come up, or you may feel a little bit irrational or irritated. You don't have time to deal with this. And it's lovely to be in that environment where somebody is just holding you with no judgment, and you can just freely not be alone and express that emotion.
Yeah. And I think you cannot, so maybe something that is working as well, but I think you cannot really expect this knowing from a family member. Because what Judy did in this moment, she had this distance, but on the other side, this, I don't know, this compassion. And that is what is so important, because she was not, I don't know, she was not crying with me. She was strong.
Yeah.
But she was allowing me without, as you said, without judging it, without saying anything about it. It's not good and bad. It's just happening. So and this empowerment was very very important in this moment. And this, she always said, you're doing great, but with a really soft voice. And you are feeling, every person is feeling those vibes when someone is soft and empowering you at the same time. And that is important, just to get rid of it. And while you are having this experience, you are just in another, of course you are in another world, you are in the past, you are experiencing this pain again. So you have to just let it go. Yeah.
Beautiful.
So tell us a little bit about, I love all of that, and thank you for, showing up for yourself that day, right? It's so beautiful. So tell us just a little bit about, really, whatever you want to share about the story, but maybe, and how it's transmuted, and kind of how how you're showing up now compared to how you felt before.
Yeah. I would say that I would never be the woman I am today without, in particular, without this first powerful session.
Love that.
That was the beginning of a transformation, because it was the first time when I gave my subconscious, my whole system, the possibility to get rid of it, to get rid of every, I don't know, everything that is not really the truth, everything that is running your life. Judy always says it's running your show. Your subconscious is running so many things in our life. When you do not understand that you have the power over it, you can change it. And that was the first time when I really allowed me to feel this pain. And yeah, so it really, I think you can, or I know you can read 100 books your whole life, and you can meditate. Like I'm meditating 1 hour a day, but not one meditation changed my life like this session. So it is so powerful, and it is just, yeah, when you really want to change your life, I think you really have to, or you can do these trauma sessions.
Yeah. So incredible, right? I mean, I felt the same way. I know Leanne did. Like, when you realize that you have that huge aha and that awakening, and it's just so, like you just know it and you can't unknow it, right? You're just like, all of a sudden you're just like, oh my gosh, that is the story that I've been telling myself about myself for 50 years or whatever, right? And so, you know, it's always so beautiful to witness. But what I really love is what you're saying. I am no longer the same person that I was before. And I'll never be her, right?
Yeah, really. And it is really like, as you said, you have those aha moments because you see limiting beliefs showing up you would never have expected to believe that. And that is what you cannot understand when you are not going deep.
Yeah.
So
are you comfortable sharing kind of what your limiting belief was? And
yeah, in this session I really was holding, so it's always us holding us back, right? So we're always believing those people are holding us back. But I was really telling myself that I'm not safe when I'm a strong woman, when I'm going out there, showing up with all I am. And I had this meeting, and it was good, but I knew that there is more power inside of me. And that is what you are feeling. I think that is always, you are always feeling there's more inside of me. And that was exactly what was happening at that day. I knew there's more power inside of this woman. And that was exactly the limiting belief I had inside of me, that I am not safe, not loved when I'm going into my power. Yeah.
And what did you declare for yourself then? So when you went through this trauma healing and you recognized those commands, how did you shift that? Just for people watching, understand that you can go from that state of feeling fearful, standing in your power because it's not safe, to now, you know, you're really standing in your power and doing it fearlessly. So what was the declaration that shifted that?
I think I decided to go into my power, like, I don't know, 2 months ago. This decision was made by myself before, but I think there comes the day when you are feeling you have to get rid of the feelings that are holding you back to really step into it. So I think this decision has to come first. So first you have to decide to just go into your power, no matter what. And I did not really know what is going on. Like I did not know that I will cry in this session. I did not know that I will really, I don't know, feeling a lot of pain and having limiting beliefs, but I just knew that I want to live more power. I decided that for myself. And what I can say, that when you're doing this trauma work, it's not always funny.
No, it's not.
It's not. So it's very messy. And
it's very messy.
I think you need waterproof mascara when you're going into the trauma work.
I know. Yeah. I just know that I said to her, I'm looking as if I would go to a Halloween party, because I was just dark. Like, and
it involves a lot of naps afterwards.
Yeah. And this, you have to, what I did not know as well when I had this session, you really have to give yourself and your system time to heal. So it is not always just everything is funny and you are doing this session and then, wow, I'm in my power and everything is great. And it is really, there are really dark hours. And I think it is important to say that, because I can say I had situations after those trauma sessions where I really felt, wow, this is hard. But I'm sitting here and just telling every person, every woman, everyone in this entire world, it is worth it. So, and
I love that you're so honest with that, because it is true, right? And that's the beauty really of, I kept supporting you along the way, right? It was like, this is normal. You're going to be okay. Have compassion on yourself, right? And then other stories, other beliefs start coming up, right? Because you've opened up that volcano, right? But it's so beautiful. Like you said, it's messy and beautiful and hard. But on the other side is now, you're like, I really am this powerful woman. I really am in my truth. I really know that I am living my truth and my greatness, and standing in my power instead of holding myself back. And, I know we need to wrap up, but I also wanted to say we did another session around money, and that was so incredible, because money and dreams and following your dreams, it was really something. So,
and that's the thing about trauma work. It's not just about self-perception, it's about life, like all areas of life. So you can do your trauma work around relationships, money, career, self-esteem, self-worth, self-identity. It's like, it just causes magnificent shifts in all aspects of your life. And just before we finish, something that you mentioned about seeing your limiting beliefs. And then for me, what I find is after the session, I almost have like a bit of a flashback to all the other past moments that get resolved in that moment.
Yeah.
Because you can see so quickly, okay, so it played out then and it played out then. And it makes life, especially when it's been a traumatic event that you might have some guilt and some shame and some embarrassment and some humiliation around, it makes those past events lighthearted. So as you evolve through the trauma, so for me, like I look back and I see things and I look at it with such much less judgment on myself than I would if I was daring to like think about the past without being part of this process. So thank you, Meike, for sharing your beautiful evolution, and wish you all the success in the world with continuing to stand in your power. And thank you again, Judy, for co-hosting this with me. And thank you so much for everybody who watched.